See, the best advice is do it while you can. When you get old like me, the doctor said you can't have like tomatoes.
Why?
Kidney issue. So tomato,
How we doing?
Hey, want to?
First of all, I heard about the sad news about Tim McCarver. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Tim was a good man. I knew him for a while, but good man. Sad to hear.
You guys have questions, just raise your hand. We have mics passed to you on either side.
Hey, Rob. What were your thoughts of Painter, just watching him throw today?
Really good. I mean, we told all these guys coming in that, my message to the club, the pitchers and catchers specifically, was that this part of camp is all about health and making sure we come out of this thing in a good place and making sure we're not trying to do too much. And he did that. He was very controlled on the mound. All of our young guys were. It was impressive, and I saw him throw a pen the other day, and the thing that's impressive about all of our pitchers coming from our player development system is that how they control their bullpen, meaning not the control of their pitches, but just that there's intent there and wanting to throw their bullpen the right way. They know exactly what they want to do on every pitch to be able to work on every pitch. So they were all impressive today, really.
In your mind, who is in the competition for that fifth starter spot? Which pitchers?
There's a whole bunch of them. I mean, you got Falter, Sanchez, Painter, Nick Nelson. There's Michael Plasmeyer. We got a good group to pick from, and it's going to be a battle, and that's tough but good decisions to have.
And is there anyone coming to camp who's a little behind at all for injury reasons or no?
Yeah, John Duplantier. He's got a little bit of a hammy. We're keeping his arm going. So once we get the hamstring straightened out, then, it shouldn't be too long to ramp him up. But he's the only one. Greg Soto's not here because of visa, but luckily he's like 20 minutes from our complex in Dominican. So we've got him on his program. It's just mirrored from what he would be doing here. So he's not going to miss a beat. Do not, no.
What was your message to the team today in speaking to them?
Just health. Let's, make sure that we ramp up appropriately and make sure we don't push it. Don't try to impress anybody. Just go out there and be yourself. There's three parts of the season that make me really nervous. The first week of spring training, the first week of spring training games, and then the first week of the regular season, because they're different levels of intensity. And so our message right now is, hey, let's just make sure we ease into this, stay under control. We're going to get our normal work in, but stay under control. Don't try to do too much.
How about the health of Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, obviously a shortened offseason. Is there anything you can do during the season or leading up to the season?
Well, we'll just monitor that. I mean, we're going to ramp those guys up just like any normal spring training where you have that extra month off. And we'll just monitor it as spring goes on and even during the season. But, excuse me, right now, both those guys they look really good.
Rob, how do you kind of look at the bench at this point, now that you've got Harrison in the fold? I mean, do you sort of look at it as like two openings on that bench for, a handful of guys? How do you kind of handicap what's going on there?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. But, so you want to make sure you have balance, left hand, right hand. You want to have balance between outfield and infield. The good thing about this group of guys that are competing for that job, all the infielders play the outfield. So that's a good problem to have as well. And, Jake Cave is really the only guy in that mix that he doesn't play the infield. All of the rest of them they play infield, outfield. Clemens can even catch. So,
Do you still view DH as kind of a rotation against both lefties and righties, or could you envision using like a static, like a one guy, even if it's from one side of the plate against a specific side?
No, I think at this point, I think it's a rotation. Getting people off their feet, giving them a half day, so to speak, is probably a good plan until Harp gets back.
Hey, Rob. I saw you watching some of the pitchers practicing their pickoffs, it looked like. Did any of your guys have to change either their delivery because of the crackdown on balks or the way they're throwing over to first with the new rules or anything?
Well, it's not so much their pick moves, but maybe the amount of picks that they attempt, because you got only really the two free disengagements, and the third one somebody's got to be out. But we do have the pitch clocks in the bullpen. We're going to use them during batting practices, just so they get a feel of what that 15 seconds or 20 seconds feels like. Because I think you can drill it, you can talk about it, but you really get a good sense or a good feel of it once the games start and it's real. I think that's when we'll really, learn something about it.
And then with the crackdown on balks or illegal deliveries, did anybody have to change their motion?
Not that I'm aware of. Most of our guys are clean stops.
Hey, Rob. You mentioned the importance of not trying to do too much right now, just focusing on health. And I'm wondering with younger pitchers like Painter and Abel, having them not do too much, does that kind of speak to their maturity at all, just as pitchers and as players?
Yeah, and they're all those young guys that we have are pretty mature, and they've been well schooled from our player development department. And we'll keep our finger on it, and we'll keep talking to them and mentioning, hey, under control. But I think they're pretty mature guys.
What has Painter been working on specifically, beyond, obviously you guys want him to stay healthy and stuff, but when he goes into a bullpen, what is he trying to
Just
do?
all his pitches. Yeah, just all his pitches. Command and pre-2K and 2K pitches.
As you like to do, you kind of go around and check the temperature of every guy. What's your read on the general attitude and mood of your roster coming into this camp after last season?
Yeah, I think it's excited. I mean, just the way everybody's come into camp. I think everybody that I've seen is in great shape, and they've done their work over the course of the winter, and they've been very diligent doing it. So one of the things that I worried about just after the World Series was possibly the thought of some complacency. You know, we got to the World Series. One, you shouldn't be complacent because you didn't win the World Series, but as I see these guys come into camp and I feel the excitement that they have, now my thought is turning to more reining them in a little bit and making sure they don't do too much and get out and try to, step on a little bit too early. Thank you.